Our topic today can be summarized by this statement: never try to infect people with a disease that you don't have. Now, our metaphor of a disease is kind of a negative metaphor for a positive reality. We're talking about the positive reality of your John 10:10 Christian life. We're talking about the positive reality of your discipleship, of your walk with God, your relationship with God, your joy in God, your love for God. And you never try to infect people with a disease, the disease of your relationship with God that you do not have. Dawson Trotman called this the principle of pacesetting. I love Dawson Trotman. I named my first son Dawson in part after him. And Dawson Trotman, founder of the Navigator, said, "If you aren't setting the pace, then you have no life to pass on except that which is your own weak and ineffective experience. Don't talk an inch beyond your experience. If you don't have it, don't preach it. Don't teach it. If you're not practicing it in your own life, don't talk about it to others." Now, I'd actually push back just a little bit, and I'd be curious to know if you agree with me or if you agree with Dawson Trotman. That I would say there are times that you're going to teach beyond your experience. That sometimes you're going to run across a passage and you're going to have to humbly come before your people and say, you know what, I'm not as far up the mountain of spiritual maturity in this particular regard as I'd like to be. But I'm trying to get there. I'm striving and I'm straining, I'm praying and I'm trusting that I would get there. And I want to set an example to you. But I tell you the truth, in this particular case, I'm not as far up the mountain of spiritual maturity as I'd like to be. But in most cases, you want to say to your people, pray as I pray, read the Bible as I read the Bible, forgive as I forgive, rejoice in the Lord always as I rejoice in the Lord always, give thanks as I give thanks, follow Christ as I follow Christ. Bill Hybel says the most powerful two-word leadership phrase, and I would say the two-word most powerful teacher phrase are the words, follow me. And you ought to say to your people regularly, follow me, do as I do. The Apostle Paul told believers to imitate him just as he imitated Christ. Follow me, imitate me. Both statements refer to the power of leading by example. Leaders must never expect from others anything more than they're willing to deliver themselves. They should never expect higher levels of commitment, creativity, persistence, or patience than that what they themselves manifest on a regular basis. And the normal thing that you would say is, follow me as I follow Christ. And by the way, it might sound real spiritual for you to say, follow Christ, don't follow me. That sounds real spiritual, doesn't it? What's wrong with that phrase? What's wrong with it is, it is in essence saying to your people, Christianity hasn't worked for me. My life, spiritually speaking, is bankrupt. I hope you have better luck than I do. And friends, you can never teach people. You can never make disciples of people that way. You must lead by example. You must say to them, pray as I pray. Read your Bible as I read my Bible. Forgive as I forgive. Be patient as I am patient, and so on. Jesus said, I have set an example for you as you should do as I have done for you. He said this after he washed the disciples' feet, and you would do well to wash your disciples' feet and then say to them, follow my example as I follow. Follow my example as I have done for you. You do as well. And you might say, well, that was Jesus. He could say that, but humans can't say that. Well, as Bill Hybels pointed out to us, Jesus said it all. Paul said it all the time. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, whatever you have seen in me, put it into practice. And I would encourage you to say that to your people this week. Say to them, follow my example. As I am following the example of Christ, you follow my example. It's one of my favorite verses right here that deals with this topic. Therefore, I urge you to imitate me. For this reason I have, and we'll stop right there. What do you expect that Paul is going to say next? Follow my example. I urge you to imitate me. For this reason, you think that he's going to say, for this reason I'm coming to visit you. I want you to see that's not what he says. He says, I want you to imitate me. For this reason, I have sent to you Timothy, my son whom I love, who is faithful in the Lord. And in essence, what he's saying, and I have so poured my life into Timothy, and Timothy is so following my example that when you follow Timothy's example, you will be following my example. I have transferred my life onto Timothy, and now Timothy is going to transfer his life, which is my life, which is Christ's life, onto you. 1 Timothy 4:12 actually commands young Timothy to do this. It commands young Timothy, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. And I would say don't let anyone look down on you because you're old either. But you, teacher, set an example for the believers. In your speech, don't curse. Don't be grateful. In the way you talk, set an example for your people. In your conduct, in the way you behave, in your walk, in your love, set an example for your people. In your faith, in your confidence, set an example for your people. And in your purity, you set an example. You be pure just as I am pure. And you never try to infect people with a disease that you don't have. Could I ask you to do me a favor? I'd ask you to like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'd also ask you to check out my Bible study lessons, myBibleStudyLessons.com. I write Bible study lessons for a living. I would argue I've written more Bible study lessons than any human, living or dead. Most people who write Bible study lessons do it kind of as a part-time deal. I've done it pretty much as a full-time job, a good part of my adult ministry. And I've got thousands of lessons available that are available on a subscription basis, and I'd invite you to check those out at myBibleStudyLessons.com.